Hello, I'm Tamsin, and welcome back to English Sound Building, the advanced pronunciation podcast that celebrates the physical side of language learning, encouraging you to do the work to build muscle memory, and master new sounds. As always, remember that while improving your pronunciation can lead to clearer speech, successful communication is possible in any one of the thousands of global English accents, and there is no ideal. But learning about pronunciation also helps with listening. It's fascinating and it's fun, and that is why we're here. If you would find it useful to read as you listen, you can find a script for this podcast on my Patreon page. That's www.patreon.com/EnglishBrickByBrick. The link's in the episode notes. Everything is free on there. Just scroll down on the main page. It is just me writing, recording, and editing these podcasts in my free time, though. So if you like what I do and you are able to support me, please do. And thank you so much to those of you who already are or already have done. So this week is season recap time already. I can't believe we're at the end of season 3 already. I can't believe we're at the end of 2021 already. I'm sure many of you feel the same. As with all season recaps, we're going to look back over the sounds that we've done, including those features of connected speech, so the intrusive y and the weak forms of grammar words, in particularly those weak forms with the schwa sound. We are going to then practice those sounds by looking at some tongue twisters, some rhymes, and some songs today as well. We're going to start with 2 short tongue twisters. The first one is great for s, and ng, and for the I and E contrast. And you'll hear a k sound in there as well, in that tricky ks cluster, something we'll come back to in the future. I'll read it once slowly, and then I'll read it at a more natural pace just once, and then I'll pause for you to repeat just once at the moment. 6 southern sailors sailing southern seas. 6 southern sailors sailing southern seas. Well done. But of course, with any tongue twister, we can't stop at one repeat. The aim is to say it 3 times without stopping. Let's try. 6 southern sailors sailing southern seas. 6 southern sailors sailing southern seas. 6 southern sailors sailing southern seas. Well done. And I didn't say this one also, of course, practices the th sound. Will be quite a good review for those of you who haven't touched on that since last season. The second short tongue twister is great for the sound again, but here we can add the o vowel as well. Again, it has the k and the short I sound. It's also a lovely recap of the t sound from last season, has schwa in unstressed syllables, and has the weak form of the. I have posted this one on my Instagram before, so you may recognize it from there. Again, I'll read it once slowly and then once at a more natural pace, and then pause for you to repeat. The bottom of the butter bucket is the butter bucket's bottom. The bottom of the butter bucket is the butter bucket's bottom. And I forgot to mention, you also have the weak form of in there as well, the of. Let's read it 3 times. The bottom of the butter bucket is the butter bucket's bottom. The bottom of the butter bucket is the butter bucket's bottom. The bottom of the butter bucket is the butter bucket's bottom. Well done. That one is not easy. It took me a couple of takes. Okay, now moving on to a longer tongue twister or a short rhyme. This one is great for the weak form of and, so trying to make those sounds, and for those s and sh sounds. It's super tricky. We will read it first line by line, and I'll read each line slowly and then at a more natural pace, and then pause for you to repeat once. Susan shines shoes and socks. Susan shines shoes and socks. Socks and shoes shines Susan. Socks and shoes shines Susan. She ceases shining shoes and socks. She ceases shining shoes and socks. For socks and shoes, shock Susan. For socks and shoes, shock Susan. Okay, we are now going to try it all the way through. I'm pretty nervous about it. Let's see how we get on. Either try to read with me or pause it after I've read through and repeat. Now, I would suggest just repeating the once, but if you manage to do it 3 times, then hats off to you. You've done an amazing job. Susan shines shoes and socks. Socks and shoes shine Susan. She ceases shining shoes and socks. For socks and shoes shock Susan. Well done. Whether you managed it or not, that is such a good one to practice. It's such a difficult tongue twister. It's so hard not to get those s and sh sounds messed up. You'll also have noticed in the second line there, the socks and shoes shine Susan, that we have some slightly unusual word order, as we often do in poems and rhymes. So the good news is that's probably as tricky as it's going to get. We're going to move on now to look at a couple of traditional songs. So the type of songs kids have been learning and singing for generations, great for singing around a campfire or practicing your pronunciation. Now, I've spoken before about how helpful singing can be for practicing your pronunciation. It's a different way of playing with the sounds in the mouth. It's a different way of feeling the sounds in the mouth. And also it really forces you to get the rhythm right, get things like those weak forms and unstressed and stressed syllables right as well to match the rhythm of the song. The first one is about Bingo the dog. It's called Bingo. This one seems to be about 200 years old and its origin is unknown. It's great for the weak forms of a, and was, all taking schwa, although you will notice that some of the wases are stressed. And his, often dropping the H, something we'll talk about more next season. We also have ng, g, and o, and we have an intrusive y between the B and the I, bi, the I and the N, in, and the G and the O, go, and plenty of O's. We're just going to do the first verse. To continue, the first and then subsequent letters of Bingo's name are clapped out in each verse. I will put the full version of the script in case you want to sing for longer. We're going to start by reading it, by speaking it, and then we'll move on to singing it later. We'll start with reading it line by line. Again, I'll read the first time quite slowly and then at a more natural pace. Then I'll pause for you to repeat just once. There was a farmer who had a dog. There was a farmer who had a dog. And Bingo was his name, oh. And Bingo was his name, oh. Bingo. 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 And Bingo was his name, oh. And Bingo was his name, oh. And that's it. And we'll now proceed then to singing each line. Again, we'll do this one by one the first time, and then we'll put it all together. Now, I still have a slight frog in my throat, so my singing is going to be even worse than normal. But hopefully I'll manage to hold the tune. And as usual, I'm sure you'll do a far better job. We will sing with enthusiasm anyway. There was a farmer who had a dog. And Bingo was his name, oh. Bingo. 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 And Bingo was his name, oh. And we'll now sing that all the way through. There was a farmer who had a dog, and Bingo was his name, oh. Bingo. 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 And Bingo was his name, oh. So not particularly complicated in terms of the lyrics, but quite tricky in terms of all of the pronunciation features that are going on around them. Me and my son absolutely love singing that one. It's such a happy little tune. I hope you enjoy it as well. And the second song is another animal-themed one, The Animal Fair. This one is again of unknown origin, but we do know it's been sung for over 120 years. And because of that, there are quite a few versions. We will just go with the one I've always known. This one has a great rhythm, so it's fantastic for weak forms. But we won't stop there. There are also k, g, I, and e, and more than one intrusive y. See if you can hear them. Again, we'll read first, spoken line by line, the first time slowly, the second time at a more natural pace, and then I'll pause for you to repeat once. We'll then sing by line by line, and then we'll put it all together. We went to the animal fair. We went to the animal fair. The birds and the beasts were there. The birds and the beasts were there. The big baboon by the light of the moon. The big baboon by the light of the moon was combing his golden hair. Was combing his golden hair. The monkey fell out of his bunk. The monkey fell out of his bunk and slid down the elephant's trunk. And slid down the elephant's trunk. The elephant sneezed. The elephant sneezed and fell on his knees. And fell on his knees. But what became of the monkey? But what became of the monkey? And then at the end of that last line, when we sing it, we're just going to repeat keyonk, 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 keyonk. So the end of monkey joining back onto the beginning of monkey has absolutely no meaning, but it's just playing with sound. So let's now try singing each line. We went to the animal fair. The birds and the beasts were there. The big baboon by the light of the moon was combing his golden hair. The monkey fell out of his bunk and slid down the elephant's trunk. The elephant sneezed and fell on her knees. But what became of the monkey? Yonky, 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 yonk. And we'll try it one more time all the way through. Either sing with me or pause afterwards and repeat for yourself. We went to the animal fair. The birds and the beasts were there. The big baboon by the light of the moon was combing his golden hair. The monkey fell out of his bunk and slid down the elephant's trunk. The elephant sneezed and fell on his knees, and what became of the monkey? Yonky, 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 yonk. Well done. And if you do happen to be practicing this with other people or have people around you who might join in with the singing, that one can also be sung as a round. So as one person is finishing, is repeating the monkey, yonky, 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 yonk, the next person can start singing it again from the beginning. You can go on for as long as you want to. Well done. That is the end of this week's workout. I hope you've enjoyed having some fun with those tongue twisters, that rhyme, and those songs. I hope we've left this season with a smile on our faces. So I will be back next year with season 4. I've got some ideas lined up already, some episodes written already, but as always, if there are sounds or combinations of sounds or features of connected speech you know that you would particularly like an episode on, get in touch. You can message me on Patreon, via Facebook or Instagram, and I love hearing from you. I'll keep the tongue twisters coming most weeks on Instagram and Facebook too. So if you don't follow me over there yet and you do use social media, come find me at English Brick by Brick. In the meantime, practice as often as you can to keep building muscle and muscle memory. Go back over all the episodes, seasons 1, 2, and 3, and try to notice things that you didn't notice first time around too. Enjoy sound building, and I'll see you in 2022.